Hello, everybody, anybody. Welcome to the forest. And I promised myself that I will periodically record these videos, predominantly about coming back to mental health after having been through some sort of setback, whatever life event may have put you there. It's more common than you might think. It's one of the things I really strongly believe in from direct experience, which I think is a very, very important teacher that should always be at the table of your decision making, along with whatever facts or knowledge you may have learned indirectly through books or TED Talks or whatever online or otherwise non-direct source there is. So for my direct experience, people tend to carry around their own personal boulders, feeling as if they better keep them secret because no one else seems to have boulders, these secret boulders. And it seems that way because they keep them secret. Just really like the pretty leaves of the birch here, along with the conifers. And there's an especially nice quaking aspen, which is here and there. And it's so nice to see these little silver dollars flashing in the sunlight and the wind where they occur. Anyways, stepping a bit outside a train of thought to appreciate the present. Yeah, so, people aren't going to volunteer it, and that's understandable. But a side effect of that might be that we feel no one else is experiencing it, so that's a mission of these videos, is to help enable people to feel connected through experience, especially the type of experience they might not share. So, mental health and recovering from some setback. For me, the setback was, it had its origins as an acute sort of issue in the workplace. And then there had been, I think, some more long-standing chronic issues or old issues that I'm not clear on yet, but through the process of my own healing, through that sort of deep dedication to abandon whatever thought processes or expectations I may be having myself, my belief systems, even my understanding of who I am, or etc. I already had a story of who I am and what the world was, and it was sort of thrown on its side completely, which was a very good lesson in extending one's personal values to the rest of the world. It's good hopefully that one has values, and whatever those values are, to share them. And oftentimes we find that there are some certain values that seem to hold a certain esteem or regard, like being honest or authentic, or trying to make the world a better place, for example. And how we, work as individuals, how we comport ourselves should hopefully be reflected in some of the principles and values at the place where we work. Otherwise, we'll feel that we're fighting against the grain. And this was the case for me, but the lesson learned was that it doesn't mean that because I hold these values true and that I should assume and extend that to other people or to everyone or to whatever generalization I'm attributing them to. So in my case, this I cognitive failure in the resulting from too much stress at the workplace. It happened really right after coming off of a vacation, and I suppose, or as I understand, that isn't entirely uncommon. But this really, for me, was this acute circumstance and incident that unleashed a sort of avalanche of related system failures cascading over time, mentally, leaving me needing a lot of sleep and completely minimizing my stimulus. And this took me like trial and error to learn, so it was difficult for a while as I sort of got my bearings. And now what remains is difficulty, and really it's just like my hands are tied. Difficulty in sequencing thoughts and sort of planning and stacking one thought onto another. An easy example of that is thinking about, oh, what should we have for dinner tonight or the next meal, and what is included in that meal, and let's go shopping for those things. Like, that's a really simple thing to do, and it confounds me. It takes me I just get from where I'm at to the next one. That's it. And then I have to start over. And now, before that really paralyzed me, I had to call my wife one time to meet me at the store because I just felt completely lost and shut down, and like was crying, but not because I was thinking of anything sad, not even because I think I was realizing I was frustrated. It was just accompanying the confounded state that I found myself in what otherwise would have been a very familiar place, the local grocery store, with a very routine, almost mindless task like grocery shopping. Anyways, there are these acute instances, and this was mine, and this is how it expressed itself, and it has taken over a year now for me to come to this place where I'm no longer spending so much time in bed, but I still do find that I need more recovery than I expect after some exciting or socially engaging or otherwise mentally focused tasks. Like, I really do need to recover quite a bit after that still, but that's okay. When I do recover, I feel more present and aware, and I am, for example, doing this, which is at least doing something. And I trust that because I'm better now than I was months ago, this trend continues and I continue to get better. But I also, and this is critical, and I'll mention I had the last of 12 appointments with a psychiatrist just recently, and that's what insurance covered. So maybe there will be more, but right now the understanding is there will not be. And in the final session, I was able to really recognize, yes, I've definitely come a long way. There's been a lot of change towards the positive, and that's good. And the 3 takeaways were: to continue to push my boundaries, so to push outside of my comfort zone, to keep doing that, and then to have compassion for myself when things don't go right, when I can't remember something, or sometimes honestly, if I get overwhelmed mentally, then I start to have physical limitations and I might knock something over or whatever, and that really frustrates me, and then I can go downhill extremely fast if I get frustrated about something like that, because I start to have all this negative talk about how useless I am and what a ridiculous failure, and blah blah blah. Oh geez, so I need to have self-compassion, and I really do, because that landslide doesn't help at all. The thing to do in that moment is the third thing, which is to accept that this has happened to me. And so the thing to do in those moments is just to recognize that, all right, I am very frustrated right now. It's more than I should be. This is not, sort of in proportion with having knocked over a water bottle or something or whatever it is. And I should recognize right now that this is an overreaction and I just need to calm. And it doesn't mean it's the end of the world, but perhaps I've overdone it, which is usually the case. I've been trying to do too many things to try to push those boundaries out of my comfort space, and that's all for rehabilitation. That's good. But then to recognize, okay, something's gone difficult now. I need to have compassion for myself, knock it all down on myself. Just stop what I'm doing, or clean up a bit if necessary, or ask for help. And then just chill out and restore. And if you can, if you're calm enough and present enough, you can explore that moment a bit and see what underlies this emotional response. Is there a sensation in the body? Is there something that comes to mind? But most important is just to find calm again. All right. I try to keep these videos to about 10 minutes. Some will go longer though. Some will be shorter. I always want it to be authentic, and actually, from when I started the video, I wasn't so much like all excited about it, but I started it by saying, I promised I would do this, and I'm glad I did it. Now, having done it, it feels better, so I'm sure it's some sort of cathartic healing for me, as well as whatever value it may be to anyone that listens. Be forgiving and gentle with yourself. You have every right to be here as much as anything else, everybody, everything else in the universe. So be gentle with yourself, have self-compassion, recognize that you are at where you're at. There's no better truth than that, and that's okay. And yeah, wherever you're at, love yourself and nourish yourself, and sometimes you gotta let things get better on their own. So sometimes, or some moments, or some days, or whatever, you're not pushing, you're surrendering. And other times when you feel it, it's time to hike on, time to push, time to build, time to work. It's all okay. All right, till next time, ciao for now.